Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I'm here with Misty and with Natalie.
Hi.
And today is our triple play, and we are talking about the Periwinkle today, or the Wacky Web. It has a couple of names, but that's what we're focusing on today. So this is my quilt back here.
It's so cute.
Isn't it
I
cute?
love it.
We've done several different ideas with the Periwinkle, and you always think, what are we going to come up with? How's it going to work? And then, bam, we come up with a new idea. So I just think it's fun. I can't wait to show you how to do it. So to make this quilt, you're going to need one packet of 10-inch squares, and we have used Prairie by Holt for Riley Blake. You're going to need some background. We use this white right here. You're going to need 3.5 yards of that. This is our outer border, and the outer border is 1.25 yards, and it's a nice big 6-inch border. And this backing, I love this backing. It's a cheater cloth. You're going to need 5 yards. Let's take a good look at it because it's absolutely adorable.
It's so pretty.
So Isn't that adorable?
I love it.
The quilting pattern on this is Fancy Clover, and it just makes a little clover leaf, and I just thought it looked really cute with the Prairie pattern. You're going to need a Wacky Web template. You're going to need the Wacky Web triangle paper refills, and this is the template for the 5-inch squares. You're going to need a glue stick, optional, but I like to use it. And then it's going to make a quilt that is 68 by 80, so it's a good size quilt and fun to make. So this is one of those projects that looks like you worked really hard. And while you need to know how to do it, it's not difficult. You know, it's one of those things that's kind of fun. It makes you feel like you're like a really creative project. And anytime you involve a glue stick, well, you know you're over the line with creativity.
Exactly.
Just over the line. All right.
Silly.
So I have some things going on here that I'll explain as we go along. This is the block that we're talking about right here. This is our Periwinkle block. It comes together in fourths like this. We're going to make 4 of these to make 1 of those. And so let me show you how we do this. The first thing we're going to do, Misty, I'm going to need you to sew. Okay. And we're going to take 2 contrasting 10-inch squares. We're going to put them right sides together. And I want you to sew just right down the side, this side and that side.
Opposite sides.
Yep, opposite sides. We're going to sew down that. I need to make sure I have my ruler handy. I can put these aside for now. So out of every block that we sew, you're going to get your border piece here, and you're going to get four of the middle periwinkles. And so I'll show you how that works. Misty, your nails are so cute with the little hearts on them.
Thank you.
All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to cut 3 inches off the top right here. Just like this. And then I'm going to put this on the edge, and I'm going to cut this right in half. Just like this. Now these 2 pieces up here, these are going to form later on our border right here.
Oh.
And so we're going to set these aside in a pile. And these 2 pieces right here, I want you to sew on the inside line as well now.
Okay.
So we're sewing both sides of that rectangle.
There's that one.
Alrighty. And we're going to do this to both. So you're going to get 2 wacky webs out of this piece right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the points of my wacky web, this point and this point down here, on my stitch line. And I'm going to slide it right to the bottom. So the point is on the stitch line, and this point is also on the stitch line. And I'm going to cut this like this. And just barely, be careful cutting. Don't cut too far off the edge. And so then we'll move this out. I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I'm going to come up to the top, and I'm going to put my point on both seam lines.
That's very cool.
That is so clever.
Like this. And then what we get, because most of our periwinkle quilts have been one color, and now what we get is 2 pieces right together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
So you'll do this for both
those?
Yes, you'll do this for both sides. So I will go ahead and cut these out. And on one, we're just don't cut in too far, or you'll lose your cutting area on the other. And so then this one, and because you're like right on this, putting your points on the line, you can get 2 of these out of here, and don't throw away these little triangles because we use those too.
Love that.
You do?
We do. It's going to be a surprise.
Okay.
All right, here's 2 more to iron.
All right.
Okay, so then what we're going to do is we are going to take our paper, our Wacky Web paper, and it comes in a thing like this, and it's basically a 13.5-inch square cut in half diagonally. So if you have your own paper, feel free to use it. You know what I used to do? I used to go to McDonald's and say, could I have my hamburger wrapped in like 14 papers? You know, they'd be like, this woman's really OCD. But really, those make that thickness of
the
paper
right material. Yeah.
makes a great one. Now we have it for everybody, but at that time, you know, we would use phone books, which a lot of you probably don't even know. Even you guys know what a phone book is, but you know, younger people won't. I mean, you're not that you're not younger. They are definitely younger than me.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Anyway, we're going to put this on our paper. What the paper does is it keeps everything together. It just keeps everything lined up.
Stabilizes it a bit.
Gives you a pattern.
Yes, so
for
this
cutting.
is going to be stuck on here like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut a 4.5-inch strip of background fabric and subcut those into 4.5 by 5.5. I believe it's 5.5. Yes, it is. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to lay this right on this seam right here, and we're going to sew one piece on here, iron it back, and sew one on the other. So I'm going to let you do that.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and put this on our, put this one on here.
Now, do you press or just finger press before
Either
you
way.
add the other?
So here's the other one.
Usually finger press
Me
because I
too.
just want to
usually-
get both sides
I
on.
usually
Yeah.
finger press
Oh.
as well.
We put it on the wrong way.
Nope,
Nope,
that's
that's
right.
right? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It's
All
a
right.
surprise.
You have to wait and see, Misty.
You're right, you're right.
It's a surprise.
I was worried.
All right. Oh, this did not glue on there. It must have dried before I got my fabric on there. I mean, my fabric.
There we go.
All right, and I'll let you sew another one while we're
Okay.
doing this.
I'll
So
press
Natalie, give that a
those.
good press.
Okay.
Then you're going to come over to your stack of all these little triangles that we cut off, and you're going to grab 2 triangles like this, and we are going to put these to cover up those little ends. So you just want to make sure that your fabric is different. I liked mine to be different than this. And when you sew these triangles on, you just want to bend it over and make sure it's going to actually cover the paper. And so, because some of them might have a little bit different angle, and it might be off a little bit, but you want to cover that end triangle. And because we're using pieces that are pre-cut, this line right here where Misty said, oh, that's too short, that's the line we use to measure so that they all come out pretty close.
It came unthreaded.
Oh, dear.
Just a moment.
That happens a lot to me. This is the cutting diagram that I made. It's very primitive looking, but these are the sew lines. Then you cut, and sew again your little triangles. Put your 2 little template pieces on there. You can put that down there.
Okay.
Now you might see, like I have these papers up here. We no longer make these. We've gone to the solid color. So when you get your papers, if it doesn't look like the ones that you see on my table, don't worry about that.
Do we have
Same
another
thing.
one?
Yes, we do.
All right.
So again, we're just going to put this on here like this, fold it back to make sure it's going to cover it,
Stitch it down.
and stitch it down.
Nice.
And then I will give you a couple more pieces for this one. I don't even worry about cutting this little piece off right here. And then I'm going to let you sew these on.
Okay.
Natalie, you can press that back.
Okay.
So now this is actually one of the coolest parts of this block to me because we're going to flip it over and we're going to trim it up. We're going to use the paper as our pattern. And so we're going to line up our ruler just with the paper like this. And then we're going to trim the sides and the bottom to make sure that it's exact. And this just gives you this nice clean block. Looks like you worked so hard.
Well, it's so satisfying when it goes from being so wonky looking
Right?
to nice
Oh,
and
yeah.
clean.
All right, so
Look at that.
here's this piece right here.
Trimming up is one of my favorites.
Me too.
It has become mine as well. I wouldn't say it was always so, but it has become one of my favorites as well because it's just so satisfying.
It is.
Yeah.
So generally what I do is I'll sew a whole stack of these and then I trim all at once, trim a bunch at once and then start sewing them together. All right. So then once you get 4 of these done, we're ready to put them together, and I should have 4 of these here with these. And so we are ready to put these together now. And you'll see, so I go ahead and sew these together before I take the papers off. Now, if you don't want two that are the same, you know, make a whole stack and put something else in there. Let me see, what do I have here? Ones that are started, that I could finish. Nah, I'm okay to show you this way.
Okay.
So, because you cut them up.
Let's swap these two. Because these
Were the
patterns are the
same.
same.
Oh, yes, yes. So look at your colors in here. Look at your edges out here to make sure they're different. These little edges are going to make these tiny little dots out here. Now, because they are sewn on an angle, they're not going to come out perfectly straight, which also was okay with me.
I like that it's wonky. It's really cute.
So,
But
Misty?
also when you look at it from a few feet back,
Yeah.
it looks completely circular.
Exactly.
So if you will sew these together, you can match this center part up here.
Okay.
And then match this where the white comes here. Make sure those line up.
Okay, I will do
And
my
then,
best.
and then this lines up as well. And just sew straight down that side. And I actually make these into blocks. And then
You take your papers off at that point?
at that point, once I have the block together, I take my papers off. So I'll do a whole bunch of blocks and then take a lot of the paper off.
Okay.
And taking the paper off is also very satisfying.
I always take mine off at the triangle stage.
Oh, do you? Mm-hmm. Well, that's, you know, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
All right, here's this
Did
one.
all right.
You did great.
Doesn't
Press
matter
that
at
out.
all.
Wait, I'm going to start up here in the middle. Am I sewing it on the right side?
We don't
Does
know.
Okay.
We hope so.
It's just
We're crossing our
fine.
fingers. If, when we get it done and it's not exactly right, don't take it apart. Just make two more and put it together. Save them for the next one.
All right. Keep it lined up as best I can.
If the paper is hard for your sewing machine, like if it makes it so it doesn't hold on together very well, you can go ahead and take the paper off before you sew.
Yeah.
That would be fine. It's such thin paper that it comes off super easily.
It does.
All right, now what I'm looking for when I put these two together is I'm looking to make sure these are different and these are different.
We
and
did it.
We're going to just put this together, and this is, you know, 2 layers of fabric up here, so go ahead and make sure that they're opposite sides
Okay.
and sew that down.
Sure. I think that still feels good in the middle. Check these guys.
Yep, you just match them up as you go. Pretty easy. There are so many things you can do with this periwinkle. I really love this.
It's such a fun look.
I know, I almost had like 2 or 3 other ideas that I
know.
wanted to use. I'm like,
Well,
oh, which
another
one?
another
can do
triple
another
play, another year. So let's go ahead and take this off,
Okay.
and it comes off really easily. If you can get your finger in between the parts and the seam, and it comes off at the seam. The seam is like your tear line. You
Yeah.
know, it
Perforates it for you.
perforates the fabric.
And also, I think if you leave a little piece of paper in there, it's not going to matter.
No.
It'll probably dissolve the minute you wash your quilt.
Oh, it will, for sure.
So you don't have to be perfectionist about it.
But you can if you want to. I am a little bit. All right. So this is our block we get at the end.
Oh, sorry, just being a perfectionist.
Just being a perfectionist.
Tidying up.
Tidying up. All right.
So cute.
So here's our block.
It's so cute. I
Then when
love
we're
it.
ready to put them together, let's take a look back here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 by 5, that's 20 blocks.
Nice.
And when you put them together, again, we want to look and make sure that our little blocks out here don't match. I mean, they're different.
Just want it to be
And-
scrappy.
Yeah, you want it to be scrappy. And so when you put 4 of these together, it's going to make this little circular thing in the middle.
So cute.
So we called it Periwinkle Dot. And I love that we use 2 pieces of fabric to make the periwinkle rather than just, normally it's just one shape that we cut like out of a 5-inch square. But I love that we use the 2 pieces. So
I love
that's how easy mine was.
Adorable.
Now,
so cute.
we put all these together 4 by 5. I put a little 1.5-inch border out here, and then I have these pieces out here. And these literally, you're just going to sew them together, you know, like this. I left them the same size. 2 are already sewed together. I just sewed them together again and again. Got to the bottom. I didn't worry about, you know, like this block is a little shorter. I didn't worry about that at all. I just put them on and let them go. Put another 1.5-inch border, and then went ahead and did my big 6-inch border on the outside. But I did rows of this, you know, sewed all my pieces together, and put my borders on. I still had a stack left over. So
Fun.
Oh, wow.
I made a little bonus project. I put them together in this little patchworky
That's
table
so
runner.
cute. I love it.
And I just think it came together really cute. I kind of lined them up so that they would stagger and cut my rows in half.
Like
And,
bricks. It's really
and of course,
cute.
it's not exact either, but it's darling. And I used this on the back of it as well.
Oh, it's so cute.
So a cute little bonus project with mine.
With your
And
leftovers. I love it.
Natalie, I guess you're up next.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, so my quilt is called Periwinkle Pop, and I think it's just really fun. It looks,
It's really
I think it
fun.
looks
So
a little
cute.
bit harder than it actually is to make.
I love those
Which
kind
is
of quilts.
fun.
Though.
It's
Yeah.
magical.
It's magical.
So-
Yeah, because this is our piece right here, our triangle.
Yep. And
How
so
cool
I'm going to
is
show you how to do
that?
it. You're going to love it. All right, so to make my quilt, you're going to need 1 package of 10-inch squares, and I used Gloria by Maureen Cracknell for
It's a
Art
beautiful
Gallery
line.
fabrics.
I love this collection.
And the fabric is really soft.
Yes.
I enjoyed using it. It's
Yeah.
great.
Feel it for a moment.
Yeah, it is. It's like
very
it's
soft.
soft.
Beautiful fabric.
So you're going to need some background, and this quilt takes quite a bit. You'll need 8 3/4 yards for your background.
You know, I was thinking though, it would be really fun if you had a bunch of scrappy lowlights.
It would be
Yeah.
fun
That
to
would
do
look
out of
beautiful.
scraps.
Yeah.
You're going to need a couple of accent fabrics, and I used this beautiful pink and green, and you're going to need about 3 yards of each. I also think these would be pretty done in scrappy prints, or
Yeah.
just you could use jelly roll strips because they're 2.5 inches. So that
Or
would
black
be so,
or black and white.
black and white
Yeah.
would be good. So
Any
yeah,
of those
lots of
statement colors.
options
Yeah.
there. You'll need 1.5 yards for your border, and 3/4 for your binding, and 8.5 yards for your backing.
Let's see that backing.
Now, I went ahead and pieced this backing.
Oh, I love
Because
that.
I used this print on the border as well. So I just put a strip down the middle.
So what quilting pattern is on this?
So I used Simple Stipple or Simple Meander.
It looks like a stipple. Yeah, it looks great.
It's beautiful.
So I love it. So a couple of other helpful tools, the Wacky Web Template, of course, and the papers, and a glue stick, whichever kind you like or have at home.
Yeah.
Even Elmer's glue will work because it's temporary.
Even the little washable, non-toxic glue sticks for school.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
a little
because
glue stick
especially
will
because
work.
you're not stitching through it.
Right.
through this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just holding
and
it
you're
in
gonna
place.
pull the papers off before it sits, so it'll
All
be
right.
fine.
Well, let's see how to do this.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get started.
So Natalie, show us how you did this.
All right, so what we're gonna do is every block, I don't know if you can see, but they all have contrasting pairs.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
gonna grab a couple of them and cut them at the same time.
It's funny, I didn't notice until you pointed it out, but
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
You don't actually have to cut in pairs. You can cut your whole 10-inch square pack down into periwinkle shapes and then sort them if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested in how you cut your periwinkles.
But just for the sake of this today, I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half and cut them down into charm squares because it's just so much easier.
That's what I
Yeah.
do. You know, that's what's one of the fun things for me about doing this is that
It really
it's
is
like,
so
how is she going to
easy.
do it? Is she
Yeah.
going to do it how I do it? Is she
I
going to
do
do
the
it,
same.
you know? And so I love that this, you know,
Yep.
this is how you're doing it. So this is what I would do.
So I cut them down and stack them
Which
up.
doesn't mean it's right. It's just a way, right?
Yep, it's just a way. And I like to line up on the cut edge because then I don't have any little
Pinked edges to
pink
work
edges to worry about.
with. So funny, I did
You're
the
not supposed to
exact
cut
same
under your
thing.
arm, but I did. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm actually going to twist it that way because maybe that'll be easier. Nope, it won't be. I already know.
So if you have a rotating mat, this is a great time to use
This
it.
is a great time.
Or
That's true.
if you have and you can actually just turn that,
I'll
yeah.
just flip it.
Or if you have a small mat, you can, you know, turn it and make it a rotary mat.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so you've got all your little sets.
Together, lights and darks.
Lights and darks.
And
and
out of
all
2
your-
layer cakes, you'll get 2 blocks, right?
Yes. Yep. So because we're using all of the fabric in our layer cake or our 10-inch square pack, we're going to have 42 blocks.
Okay,
so
perfect.
this is a 6x7 layout.
Wow.
And it is quite large. It's 81 by 93.
It's beautiful though.
And it's huge. And if you made your border bigger, it could be even bigger. You could add an inner border if you wanted
Right,
to.
it
I mean,
would
there's
get
options.
even bigger quickly.
Yes, lots of options. Okay. So I'm going to use this little birdie fabric because it's
I
so
love the
cute.
bird.
I love it too.
And
I think the birdie
you can
fabric
do
would make a beautiful back too.
you can do a line, or you can just do a couple dots. You don't have to have a lot of glue. You just want it to stay in place until you make your first seam. That's really all you need it for.
And of course you could pin it or anything. but
You
yeah,
could.
this is
I
just
have
easy.
pinned it.
Yep.
It's not easier.
It is not?
Glue is easier.
Yeah,
I
glue,
promise.
I agree.
I promise you. Okay. So your background is going to be cut into 5.5 by 6.5 inch strips. And these are sewn on either side of your periwinkle diagonal edge.
All right, let me do it.
Okay.
I get the sewing job right now.
Yay!
And we're going to
Fold it
finger
and
press
flip it.
it back
There it is.
and then put it on here.
And I need a pen.
And then Misty, you can press that.
Absolutely.
That'll work. Or this. Okay.
All right.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and flip it over. We're going to use the paper as our pattern for trimming. Just line it up. And there's quite a bit of waste. This background fabric would be great in a crumb piecing box, or throw it away if you want to. I don't care.
Whatever you want
It's
to do.
all up to you.
And again, I just love how instantly you've got this cleaned up block.
Yep. And I almost always will line up my ruler on the top corner just to
Oh my
make
gosh,
sure everything
I've never
stays
even looked at that.
everything stays nice and square that way.
That's so awesome. Yeah, that's a great tip because I literally just follow the paper.
Also, this, because I now have my pattern in fabric, this is where I take my papers off.
Okay, perfect.
Because I don't like to tear through so many different seams. I just
Yeah.
want it gone and out of my life.
Go away, paper.
Go away.
It served its purpose.
Yep. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do, once you've got these made, this is the tricky part. You're going to do a little mark 2 inches from the end of your triangle point. And it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to use a special kind of fabric marker because you're going to sew over it. It's not going to show.
Okay.
Okay.
So I line up that edge and just put a little dot there. And I do a same one on this side, 2 inches. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and now you're going to add your accent colors. And for my quilt, I chose pink on the right and green on the left. And you do them the same throughout the whole quilt.
Okay.
And that's how you get these alternating colors.
How they swirl.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
If you're doing it scrappy, it doesn't matter what you put where. But if you're doing 2 colors, always put one color on the right and then the other color on the left. All right, so the accent fabric is cut into 2.5 inch strips. And you're going to start from the top, right from this intersection here, that's your marker, and just line it up on the edge of that dot and sew right down.
Okay.
All right, and you want to overlap it enough up at the top that you can, have
Have a
a
seam.
good looking seam, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I strip pieced a whole bunch of pinks. I think I could get 6 on a strip
Oh, on
maybe.
A strip. That's smart.
But you want to be sure that you leave enough in between.
So let me ask you this, because I sewed it so I could
That's
see
exactly
my dot.
right. You want to
Okay.
see your dot, so it's actually 1/4 inch in
Okay.
from the dot, and then you flip it back. And when you're trimming these apart, you trim from the back side so that you can cut the angle of this.
Oh, okay.
Because the next point is going to be the top, and you don't need the fabric at the top. But if you cut them the opposite direction, this will not cover your point.
Okay, perfect.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we can
you
do
want
the
Misty
other
to trim it,
side.
or
Well,
you
you can trim it if you want to. I was a lazy trimmer, and I just put the strips on both sides of the triangles and then cut
And
them
then
all
cut them.
apart.
In
Okay.
between. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's add that green one.
So, and this side, because I'm a right-handed, I did them kind of the opposite. I go upside down. Does that make sense? You want to make sure on this that you start a good inch and a half up because it needs to cover your point. So you just have to watch these points and make sure everything is covered. Okay. But it's the same concept. You're just lining up with the edge so you see your dot, and then you're lining up with the intersection of the seam at the top of the periwinkle. So all right, it sounds tricky, but it really is easy, I promise.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna flip it over. So we're looking at the back, and we're gonna cut the direction of the point. So that comes off there. This one, we're not too worried about it, so you can just cut that at that point. And because it's upside down, you already know that it's going to cover what you need to cover.
Okay.
So now we'll press, and then we'll do a real trim with our ruler once it's pressed.
The real trim.
The squaring that makes it look good.
All right.
This is so cool. I love
it's super easy.
Here we go.
And again, my favorite part is this trim because it just makes it look so clean and perfect.
And our triangle is our pattern.
Triangle's our pattern. Lining that up. Nice 45-degree angle there. All right. Also, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and trim off this extra layer of fabric because I don't want to sew through 8 layers when these points come together in the middle. Because that gets really bulky really fast. If you choose to leave them, that's totally fine. It's up to you. I just want to get rid of the extra bulk. Oh, sorry.
You had that rotary cutter.
What? Just kidding. Yeah, so I just cut out that extra fabric just to give it more space.
Probably smart.
Awesome.
And that's it.
So you're going to
just make
4 of those.
4,000 of these, and then you're, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know how many. But yeah, these go together just like this in the quilt. And so you put together your lights and darks, and I've got a couple of these made here. So here's 2 of these lights, and this cute blue matches.
Oh, fun.
And you'll notice
so
that they don't necessarily match up perfectly at this juncture. And you're not always going to get it perfect at the dot because, you know, your seam or your fabric. But if you look at the quilt, you can see there's a few things off here and there. But I think from a distance it looks great.
It's beautiful.
I just don't think we have to be that perfectionistic about everything. I like it. I like the way it looks. I like the effect.
It's all about enjoying the process.
I think it's pretty cute.
It's very cute.
It's all about
just kind of do the best you can, you know?
Such a fun idea, Nat.
Here's the next one if you want to go for it.
I do. I want to see this finished block.
All right.
I always sew that first one. I don't know if you guys do this too, but when I'm testing out a block, you know, an idea for my head, I kind of sew it together without too much worry about what's going on because I want to see what I do need to worry about.
Yep, exactly.
Oops.
I love this. So, you know, mine, of course, had the 2 fabrics up here, but it was, I love that we did the same thing, but on different ends.
Sort of,
That's
yeah.
fun.
I just think there's so many fun ways to use this template.
And when you have this template, if you go to our app, all you have to do is put in Wacky Web Template or Periwinkle Template, and all the ideas will come up for that. And, you know, a template's good if it can do one thing. I say this often, but if it can do lots of things, it becomes
even better.
A valuable tool to you.
Yeah.
And this periwinkle is one of those quilts that really makes it look like you worked so hard.
Yeah, so I did worry about matching up that middle seam.
And
I tried really hard to match up my points, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, just do the best you can. It's beautiful.
All right, Miss Misty, see how we did.
All right.
So because I have so much going on, I didn't put an inner border. I went ahead and just put 6 by 7, and my outer border is only 5 inches. So that's pretty much it.
It's a great
super,
quilt.
super easy.
And just so you guys know, when I am making a quilt, I make a lot of bed quilts. And when I'm
that's
making a
it.
quilt for my bed, if you want it bigger and you don't want to make more blocks, literally if you add a 4-inch and a 6-inch border, that's 10 inches on each side. So it's going to increase your quilt by 20 inches.
Yes.
So it can get very big very fast.
Yep.
That looks awesome.
It
Beautiful.
is. Now there's
There's
a
a
lot
little
of
bit of
bias in anytime you
just
do
spray that.
anything. Yeah, spray
Starch is
it,
your
press
friend.
it flat,
Yeah.
Awesome.
and that's
Goes
it.
together great. Awesome. Well,
Beautiful.
Misty, I can't wait to see what you've got.
All right. All right. This is my quilt.
Oh, I
It's
love
so
it.
pretty.
Thank you. I really love how it turned out, and it's very, very quick and easy. So let me show you how I did it. So to make my quilt, you're going to need one package of 10-inch squares, and I used Shine On by Sharon Holland for Art Gallery Fabrics.
Beautiful
So
fabric.
It's really
Pretty.
pretty. And you're also going to need 4.5 yards of background. I used this kind of deep teal green. I thought it really made the fabric pop.
It does.
Well, it's just so fun to see something different. We tend to go with, a
Yeah.
standard things, but
Yeah.
it's fun to see it different. And
A
gosh,
lot of these were more muted, and so I really wanted to make sure that you could still see them because they're beautiful. And so
good picking, Misty. Good
Thank
picking.
you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I like it.
And then there's no border on this. I just, went straight to the edge, but this is my backing fabric, and for that you're
Which I
going to
love.
need 4.5 yards.
Let's see it.
Oh,
those
that's
little
so
daisies.
sweet.
Isn't that
It's a
so
sweet
cute?
Peachy
Really.
color.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I love the contrast with the
Yeah.
teal. So
Yeah.
And your
Great.
quilting pattern?
Time warp. I used
Time
time warp for the quilting. And in addition to that fabric, you are going to need the 10-inch paper piecing squares for mine, as well as your Wacky Web template and your glue. So let me show
Perfect.
you how we do it. Okay, so to make this, you will notice that these are all matching fabrics in these blocks, and so you need 2 matching prints from your layer cake for each one of those blocks. So I have those 2 here, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut them down into 5-inch squares and cut out our periwinkle shape.
Excellent.
It's so interesting to me how one little different thing and you have a whole different
Whole
something.
different thing.
I love this. Wouldn't this be so cute in Christmas fabrics with the
Oh,
wreath
yeah.
looking?
So
and it
fun.
kind of looks like a star in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
like
that
that.
you got that secondary burst once you set them together. They,
Oh, gosh,
they
yeah.
carry through.
So cute.
All right, so let me cut a few of these. I have some of these already made, but for each of our little units, we need 2 of our periwinkle shapes. So I'll cut that.
You're
and
going
then
to
I'll-
flip it?
I'll just turn it. Yep.
I was going to say,
The
I can cut the other side
temptation
with
is
my
to
left
just
hand.
cut it, isn't it? I just want to go and go.
I am not a good ambidextrous cutter. I can't do that. So there I
No,
have
me
those
neither.
ready. Let's cut a couple more. Make sure.
I'm pretty
lined
good
up.
swapping rotary cutter hand. to
You're
hand.
so good at it.
I have to go
pretty
slower
amazing.
on my right hand, but have you ever had that thing where you're cutting and your rotary cutter's just like out here and you're like, how did that happen?
How did I get there?
Yeah. You're like, think you're going along the edge of the ruler and then you're like way out there. And
I
no
have
man's
had
land.
that happen.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It just cracks me up. I'm like, whoa, wait, what is happening here?
Yeah. So I would usually finish this up, but like I said, I have a few already made, so this is enough for now. So we're just going to set those aside. You need 8 of your periwinkles in the same print. And then we're going to take our 10-inch squares and we're going to cut these down into 5-inch squares.
Awesome.
So I'm just
So
gonna,
this is basically foundation paper piecing, just like ours, only this is the
Yep.
10-inch square pack.
Yep, we're just going to put it on a square instead of a triangle.
So
I'm
these
just
are
gonna-
great for any kind of little round, like even crumb block piecing. It's like
Yep.
anything you're going to do that once you want to have your size remain there
Remain
and
the same.
stabilize your blocks.
Exactly. All right, so then now we're just going to take these and our glue stick.
That's it.
And same idea, I just did a line and set those on the corner. And I did get like a bunch ready at once so I could kind of chain piece after the fact.
Oh yeah. I did mine in those kinds of steps too.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I glued all my papers. I sewed all my
Exactly.
sides on, and then I did all my marks, and then I did all my strips.
Yeah,
you know,
it
like
makes it go really quickly.
Yep.
Well,
so
and
we
it
only
also
need
looks
2
like
for a
this you need to
minute.
actually lay out because, you'll have a block that will have 2.
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
Wait and see.
Wait
Just
and
you
see.
wait. Okay, and so then from our background, where did
I love it
put
when that
them?
happens. You think you have it figured out?
I lost
Boom,
my
Misty's got a
pieces.
surprise.
Oh, here they are. Okay, so then for our little squares, we are going to cut some background strips that are, I believe they're 2 by 5.5. Yes. Okay, so then now we're just gonna lay this along the edge and sew down either side.
Cool.
Clean up here while she does that.
So we're going to attach these to both sides.
That's right. Just finger press.
And do you have to keep it like right up here at this corner?
It should be pretty close at the top just so you get the overlap at the bottom. There we go. And if you want to press that.
I sure will.
Oh, this is a clever hack on the periwinkle. I like this.
Thank you.
I do too.
I was very pleased with it when it all came together like I thought it might work in my head. That's the funnest part about doing triple plays, I think. We get these ideas and then we get to...
Will it work?
Will it actually work how we think it will work? So now I'm just using my ruler and trimming this up to 5 inches square. I've got this last little side here.
Nice.
To trim off.
Again, ask Santa for that rotating mat.
Exactly. And so for each unit, you're going to need 2 of these. And then I just set them like a 4-patch with the wide parts in and a 5-inch background square.
Are you kidding me?
And
that's
so
the whole block.
That's the whole block. So we're going to sew those together.
I know. I love this one.
Thank you.
I need to make it. I think it would be beautiful.
It is really quick. It comes together super fast. It's so easy.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
Pretty magical, huh?
Pretty magical. And then at what point do you take your papers off?
So once I got to these 4 patches, then I would pull these off.
Okay.
I didn't do that yet. I should have, but once I sewed these together, I went back and
Oh, I'm sewing this together like a 4-patch.
You
Is
should.
that what I'm
That's
supposed
exactly
to do?
right.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. So we'll just peel these. But I think, like Natalie said, you can take the paper off whenever is your preference. I don't think there's really any right or wrong.
Iron that, and then it like slid a little bit here, so we might just want to trim that up and straighten up that seam.
Sounds good. I'll do this while
I can.
No, you're fine. I'll let you
I'm
finish.
slacking on my job.
No,
you're
peeling
helping.
papers.
You're helping. Okay, and so then now, because we had those matching fabrics, remember, then to make our block, we're just setting these together in a circle.
Oh my land, that is so darling.
That is it. And you just
That is adorable.
sew it together again, and you have these 4 big blocks across and 4 blocks down, and it finishes off at
72.
72 inches square.
And so how many of these squares did you use? 2 for each one?
Yep, 2 for each. So you'll need
16, 32.
32 out of your
Wow.
Yep.
That is awesome.
That is so cool. I love it, Misty.
I do. I
Thank you.
just love it.
It's pretty easy.
Really quick and easy.
I can't wait
What
to
a great
see it in
project.
different fabrics. So.
I know, right? Well, girls, I think we hit it out of the park with this triple play.
So too.
This was
These were
fun.
3 awesome ideas to use the periwinkle, and we hope you guys enjoyed this triple play from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you aren't already part of the Missouri Star Quilt Company family, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss a thing. And if you click that bell, it'll notify you every time a new tutorial comes out. See you next Friday.